This is Valley News Live at 6.
The number of COVID-19 vaccine doses coming to North Dakota is growing, and starting this week, so is the number of people eligible. Thrifty White opened up appointments to those in Category 1C today, with Fargo-Cass Public Health and Grand Forks Public Health following close behind. But what about the local hospitals? Valley News Team's Bailey Hurley spoke with local health leaders today who say while they may seem behind, that's not the case.
After days of unfilled appointments open solely to North Dakotans in categories 1A and 1B, Thrifty White Pharmacy said they knew they had to move on and open up further.
So we can really try to extend that vaccine beyond the health system side and make sure that they can get it right in their local communities.
Fulk says between Minnesota and North Dakota, Thrifty White gets between 11 and 15,000 vaccine doses per week, which is more than 5 times the amount Essentia and Sanford Health receive.
Our allocation from the state hasn't increased at, triple folds for the amount of patients that we get to take care of.
So while it may be frustrating for many patients of the two healthcare systems to watch other facilities further open up and vaccinate more people, both Sanford and Essentia say they aren't holding vaccine back. Rather, there's just a lot of people to give it to.
In that phase 1B alone for Essentia in North Dakota, we had over 10,000 patients. So that's a lot for us to try to vaccinate when we're only receiving vaccine once every 3 weeks.
Because we don't want to invite more people than we have doses for.
Both adding fighting COVID-19 isn't about us versus them.
We just want people to get vaccinated wherever and whenever you can get vaccinated.
The good news, both Sanford and Essentia say their allocation should nearly triple starting next week. And while Essentia says they are planning to move into Category 1C next week, Sanford says they're not quite there yet. And both say while it's hard to know how many thousands there are left to vaccinate, like the federal government, they're hopeful everyone in North Dakota will have been given the opportunity to get vaccinated by the end of May. In Fargo, Bailey Hurley, Valley News Live.
Fargo-Cass Public Health and the city of Grand Forks are now moving to Phase 1C. They're urging you to reach out if you're interested in getting the vaccine. You can find all the latest website links and phone numbers to sign up for a COVID-19 vaccine on our VNL News app. Just click on this story. Thrifty White Pharmacy is now accepting appointments in North Dakota and Minnesota for the vaccine. Spots fill up quickly, but you can always check back in to see if there are more appointments. You can sign up at thriftywhite.com/COVID-19 vaccine. Minnesota is close to having 20% of the state's total population vaccinated with at least one dose. Numbers posted on the Department of Health's vaccination dashboard indicated that as of Saturday, more than 1 million people have gotten at least one immunization. That's 19.3% of the state's 5.6 million residents. Of those people, more than 592,000 have gotten both shots. 66% of people ages 65 and up have gotten at least one dose of the vaccine. Governor Tim Walz said that once 70% of seniors are vaccinated, more groups will become eligible to get the vaccine. Big news out of Grand Forks today as the city is now ending its mask mandate. Dr. Joel Walz says the city's decision comes after 14 days of low COVID-19 numbers across the state. We have a crew up in Grand Forks and we'll update you on what the public and business owners have to say tonight on Valley News Live at 9 and 10. Fargo Mayor Dr. Tim Mahoney has indicated that he may allow the city's mask mandate to expire on March 22nd. West Fargo says discussion about its mask strategy will be brought up at their March 15th commissioner meeting. Nice and mild to start us off this week, but we're also bracing for some wild weather. Before we get to that, though, here's Hutch with a look at this evening's forecast. Hey, Hutch.
Andrea, hello. Good evening, everyone. What an awesome day of weather across the valley. A little on the breezy side, but taking a look at previous records of 40s and 50s in Grand Forks and Fargo, those were smashed today with upper 50s in Grand Forks, 57 in Fargo today, as the warm weather across eastern North Dakota felt very pleasant. Lakes country enjoying mid-50s as well. Currently, we have 40s and 50s across our area as we begin our cooling trend on this beautiful evening. In Fargo, temperatures will sneak down into the mid-50s with some clouds and some winds continuing to blow from the southeast. Those winds will keep us milder overnight, low 40s by bedtime tonight in Grand Forks, and then it all changes. A much more active weather pattern Storms aplenty making their way into our area, and the first one will be here by Wednesday. I'll have details on that, and we'll look ahead at another first alert weather day in your 7-day planner here in just a few minutes.
All right, thank you, Hutch. North Dakota has a new state health officer. Governor Doug Burgum says Dr. Nizar Wiebe will take the seat to lead the state's Department of Health starting May 1st. He will be the 5th person to fill the role over the past year, taking over for interim state health officer Dirk Wilkie, who has served in the position since September. In tonight's Crime Watch, a former Clearwater County Sheriff's deputy is being charged again for sex crimes against a teenage boy at a summer camp. Court documents obtained today show Neil Dolan is facing new allegations from the time he served as the director at Many Point Scout Camp in 2015, 16, and 18. He will spend the next 2 years in prison and will get credit for 5 days already served in jail. Dolan faced similar charges in 2019 after authorities received a complaint that he acted inappropriately toward a child. Jury selection in the Derek Chauvin case has been delayed for at least a day. Reporter Jay Gray is in Minneapolis with the latest on the high-profile case.
As crowds stand up outside the Hennepin County Courthouse, inside the courtroom, a judge has told potential members of the jury to stand down.
We have sent all the jurors home, so we're not going to have any jury selection today.
The pause amid a legal battle in the state appellate court over whether a third-degree murder charge will be part of the case moving forward.
We're not trying to delay this case. We want to try this case, but we want to try it right.
Prosecutors want to give jurors a third option in the trial of former Minnesota police officer Derek Chauvin, seen in cell phone video with his knee pinning George Floyd's neck to the ground for more than 8 minutes as he died. He currently faces a second-degree murder and second-degree manslaughter charge. Chauvin's defense team argues the third-degree murder charge isn't applicable in this case.
We have a hole in our heart. We'll never get our brother back. He's forever gone.
As Floyd's family struggles with their loss, their attorney says, regardless of the charges, there's overwhelming evidence that he believes should lead to a conviction.
The prosecutor's case is the video, the people on the streets. Everybody knew that he was being killed. They even told him so, but Chauvin refused to take his knee off his neck.
As so many now return to the streets here, demanding justice. Jay Gray, NBC News, Minneapolis.
Security is, of course, a major concern. The courthouse is surrounded by fencing with razor wire along the top in many areas. Law enforcement from at least a dozen departments or federal agencies will remain on the ground through the verdict, and around 2,000 National Guard troops are on standby. We now know what caused a fire on the BNSF bridge in Bemidji last week. The fire department says crews were working on it and using a cutting torch when sparks fell and ignited the timbers below. It was ruled as accidental. The North Dakota State Capitol is one step closer to loosening its mask rules. Later on Valley News Live at 6, we'll explain what's being discussed in the proposal.
Beautiful conditions on this Monday night as we remain in the 40s and 50s. We do have some unsettled weather heading our way. I'll have latest in your hour-by-hour forecast coming up right after this.